everybody, it's Claire here from Sewn by Claire, and today I wanted to share with you my latest new dress, which is this Cashmerette Roseclair. Now, I've got a few of these now. It is a bit of a tried and true pattern for me. I think this is my fourth or my fifth. But I do think that through fabric choice, they all suit different occasions. I've certainly got one in a darker brown that you will have seen that's for autumn. This one is more a spring and late summer, I feel, because this is made from quite a firm cotton fabric, and then I've put the contrast lilac lining in it to pick out a colour in the print here. Just a bit of fun. And this one's got a little frill along the bottom. There's a video on about this one as well. But my latest one, I saw this fabric in the fabric boutique in Ashby de la Zouch, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it. And then I also knew pretty much what I wanted to make from it as well, because I wanted something loose and floaty, but I also wanted something that was going to give me some cover should I need it through the hotter months. So this 100% viscose fabric is absolutely perfect for that, because it's a natural fibre and it also is very breathable. So it's a really lovely alternative to cotton. It's got a lovely drape to it. If I show you on the skirt here, got a lovely drape and flow to it. And as you'll have seen when I post you the videos about me walking in it and doing my twirl, then it's got a lovely fluidity to it that catches on the breeze and is just really lovely. So this one I've made with the 3 tiers on the skirt, and I do alter sometimes the amount of fabric in the tiers just depending on what cut I've got of the fabric originally. You can follow the pattern precisely and you'll get a slightly fuller skirt, just to let you know that. But the other thing is that I've actually part lined this bodice. I've lined the front of it, but I left the back unlined just to give me a little bit of more breathability on the back, because I didn't want to have 2 layers on the back and for it to feel as if I was a little bit sort of closed in on it. Spring and autumn, fine, no problem at all with that kind of a feeling. But in the height of summer here, especially if I wanted to use this as more as a cover-up dress, if I'm going out, then it can be you know, a little bit too warm then to be able to wear. So it's still got the beautiful full sleeves at the top here that come down into the cuffs, and that, as you can see, they fit just below the elbow length, and I actually make the cuffs slightly larger. This is the size 16, I think, for a 14 sleeve. There's still plenty of gather in there, and as I've done the same with this one as well, but it just gives you a little bit more manoeuvrability on your arm, and I just wanted that to have a little bit more room there and not kind of get stuck on my arms. So that was one thing that I did change. I've got the 3 tiers and it's still the wrap over as before. So that's the same as it has been. And let me just undo. I do a little button and buttonhole on at my cleavage point just here, and that just secures this so that it's not going anywhere. So you can see that really does. There's no popper to unpop, but it's just pulled out of the buttonhole just there, which is typical. It doesn't do that normally, but when you're wearing it, it's fine. Sorry. There we go. So it's all nice and neat, but I just put that on as the very final thing, just to then hold that in place. And as I say, I can move about and it doesn't, don't yank it too hard because it does come undone. But generally speaking, that doesn't come undone for me. So again, we've got the wrap over there. You can see part of the cotton of the lining, and I did line it in a nice light weight cotton I'd got, and then the nice deep generous wrap on there as well for the other side as well. So let me just turn this dress inside out and we'll just have a quick look at the inside of it, and I'll show you what I've done there. Okay, so I've just turned the dress inside out, and now you can see the white lining. So that's just that double layer just on that front bodice. Just make sure that the fabric isn't too transparent to be able to see any underwear, but also it just, the way I cut this out, because I actually cut the lining pieces on the bias, so at a 45-degree angle to the selvage edge. But what that gave me is, it gave me a straight of grain on the neck edge here, which meant that I didn't really need much more stabilising on there at all. I did use a little bit of woven fusible interfacing on there just to help those stitches. And I also, as you can see, just a little bit of the inside, I'll zoom in on the camera, you can see a little bit of the fabric just poking through to the inside, and that's what we want, because we have used that top stitching technique that you'll have seen before down here and down here, which just attaches your lining to your seam allowance And what that means is that it pulls a little bit of your fabric through to the wrong side, but it makes sure that you don't see a lining on that edge at all. So that's a really, really useful tip to use in that understitching. If you've never used that before, there's a skill builder video on my channel about that. And it is a technique that I'd suggest you look at using, because it really does give a really professional finish and stops those edges just from peeping out from inside. So we've got the full lining there, and I've just attached that into the waist line here. Let me just turn my model around, and you can see that on the back I kept to a facing. So I've used a facing rather than the bias binding that's in the pattern, and I just drafted that out using the same pattern piece for the back, but I just traced basically the first couple of inches in, which gave me enough for my seam allowance, and then to have a nice facing around the back here. And I've just attached that to those shoulder seams, so that's all nice and neat staying in there. And I put my little label on there to say it was handmade by me. Now you'll notice that on the sleeves just here, and I'll zoom in again for you, you'll see I've got some fusible interfacing on this part here of the sleeve, also on the inside of the sleeve, just an inch. And I've just done that first inch because I don't know if you've ever sewn with these soft and floaty fabrics before, but they have a tendency, if there's any pressure points, perhaps on the back of the sleeves, you know, if you're working like this, sometimes on the waist or on a dart, then the fibres can just pull apart because they're just so fine. So what I've done here is I've fused that interfacing on, and what I should have done, I didn't do, but I could have done, is also use pinking shears to cut out one edge of it so it doesn't give you a solid line. Luckily you don't see that on this one, but that's another little thing that you could do. And then I've fused that on before I've done any of my construction sewing to sew that together. And what that means is that my thread for my stitching is gripping onto the interfacing on both sides, and the fabric is sandwiched in between those stitches. So it's, if there's any pulling, the pulling will happen onto the interfacing here that's ironed on, rather than on the actual stitches. So it just gives that little bit of extra security and longevity to the garment, so that if it gets pulled or there is any tension when I pull in my sleeves, that's not going to pull the fabric and make those little holes or stretch those fibres that you might have seen on a shop bought dress that you might have used in a similar fabric. Likewise on the waist here as well, you can just see that I've got that line of interface in there, and I've done that again on both sides there, and that just supports the weight of the skirt, because with this tiered skirt, which you can't see just here, let me see if I can lift my model up for you. I've got the 3 tiers on there with all the gathers. Then there is a little bit of weight to the skirt, not too much, because as you could see with the wind it would float and it would drift, but it was just so that it again just secures that. And now I haven't put any interfacing on the actual tiers themselves because they're such a loose design. I didn't think that I needed it there, and I'm still happy that I've not done that. But obviously if you wanted to, you can do. Just be aware that when you're trying to gather those tiers up, having the interfacing on there is going to affect how flat your gathers sit. So with these I can iron them after I've gathered them and they'll be fairly flat because of the light nature of the fabric and the way that it takes a press. But if I'd got that line of interfacing in place, then again on the sleeves where I wanted a little bit of boom and a little zhuzh on the top there just for that to lift slightly, then I didn't want that on the tiers of my skirts. That's why I've left those off. But all in all, hopefully you can see from the videos, and hopefully you agree with me as well, that this is a really versatile dress. So although the fabric is quite zingy and it's really quite beautiful and lightweight, and it's got that lovely impact to the colours on the fabric, that by dressing it up with a lovely pashmina and picking out one of the colours for a bag and then neutral accessories, it can look really, really nice for a dressy occasion, a tea party, you know, a summer fete or a wedding or a christening, something like that, or even a birthday meal. But then by adding the denim jacket, the crossbody bag, little hat and my Birkenstocks, then again you could, or my flats, whatever you want to wear with it, then you can dress it down again but still look beautifully dressed and put together. So it's just a matter of making that fabric really zing for you, and lift your spirit and lift your heart really, and make you feel really floaty when you're walking down the street and feeling nice. But remembering that a dress like this doesn't have to just be for your very special occasions, you can wear it every day and just feel like it's looking, you don't look overdressed, and that it's fitting in with the environment and the tasks that you've got for that day. So I hope you've enjoyed this video of my latest Roseclair. As I say, shout out to the Fabric Boutique. I'm not sponsored at all, I just really like their shop. They're over in Ashby de la Zouch in Leicestershire in the UK, and they're also available online. And I'll pop their channel up here for you so that you can have a look both on Instagram and also on the net, so you can buy it online. And Emma does have a lovely selection of fabrics, and she does regular videos of those. So you'll see some of those. I think this was £10 a metre, I think. But as I say, I think it's a really lovely fabric, and if you've not sewn with viscose before, then that's one I would put on your radar, because for a lovely floaty summer dress, then it is really lovely. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed stitching with me today, or just listening to me talk to you about my new dress today. I'm thrilled with it. It's had lots of outings already, and there's many more planned, I can guarantee you that. So have a great day, and if you've not tried any of Cashmerette's patterns before, then please go ahead and do so. You can get those online, and they've got a really lovely 0 to size 32 size range. So they are designed for curvy girls, so if you've got a slightly larger than the average bust perhaps, or extra curves in other areas, then the patterns are designed to accommodate for that. And Jenny Rushmore, who is the creator of Cashmerette patterns, has a lot of really fabulous videos as well that you can look at, and she has a lot of fitting videos and talking about how to make alterations to your pattern to make it absolutely precise. This one has had a full bust a small bust adjustment actually, believe it or not. So this one had a small 1 inch small bust adjustment made to it, and this one, oh, I forgot to tell you as well, sorry, this one is a size 14 top with a 1 inch small bust adjustment, 16 waist, and then I did the 14 skirt because I knew that would have plenty of gather and fullness in that still for me. So yeah, great way of blending sizes and just making sure you get that perfect fit. And if you want to have a look at my other videos, then I've got some more twirl and review videos on my channel. And also, if you'd like to become a subscriber, then I'd love to know that you're here, and I hope that you've enjoyed listening about my dress. Take care everybody, have a great day and happy stitching. Bye.